Let's shift gears. Let's talk about the congressional districts. Let's start with CD1, Congressional District 1, primarily eastern Arkansas, parts of central, northeast Arkansas. The Delta, basically. Tim Woolridge has a substantial lead over second-place finisher Chad Causey. Does Woolridge maintain that lead in the runoff, or do you see Causey with an opportunity or a chance to make up that ground and become the nominee?
It's very interesting, Roby. I mean, Tim Woolridge is a very strong candidate, very strong performance in that primary, but he didn't get beyond the 50% mark, which his people were saying initially that he would. So I think there's an opportunity for Chad Causey to consolidate some of the down ticket support. Tim Woolridge is far more conservative, even than Marion Barry, even than Chad Causey. And so I think there's an opportunity for him to consolidate some of that support. There's an opportunity for him to really attract the voters that voted for Steve Briles and David Cook and some of those folks, and really look to areas where he didn't do as well as he would have liked from a turnout perspective, to really try and mobilize those voters and get them out to vote. So I think there's an opportunity for Chad Causey, but he's not a lot of time in this runoff.
Same question, different candidates down in the 2nd Congressional District in central Arkansas. Joyce Elliott with a very strong performance, I think maybe stronger than a lot of people expected her to do. Robbie Wills in a distant second place, although he won 7 of the 8 counties in the district and she performed well in Pulaski County.
Right.
How do you see that race kind of shaping up and shaking out in the runoff?
Roby, it's probably one of the more misleading stats out there, I think. Winning 7 of 8 counties, but losing overwhelmingly in Pulaski County will not only lose you the Democratic primary, it'll lose you the general election too. So I think that the thing to look at there is Joyce Elliott able to maintain that momentum in Pulaski County? Do the rural county voters step back up for Robbie Wills? And where does the support of David Bowling go? He got almost 20% in that primary, not a small number. And where does that support go? Those are likely, those are people, I guess I should say, that are Vic Snyder supporters, Vic Snyder enthusiasts. So do they migrate to Joyce Elliott, or do they migrate to Robbie Wills, or do they stay home? I think if she can capture some of that vote, in addition to bringing her folks back out, she's going to win.
The 3rd district, the GOP primary, it is also heading to a runoff. GOP politics, not necessarily your bailiwick, but we're going to give you a crack there. Steve Womack leads the ticket pretty substantially, although he didn't even garner a third of the votes, but he was very far ahead of the nearest competitor, Cecile Bledsoe. The very close 3rd place finisher, Gunnar DeLay, has already endorsed Bledsoe, abandoned his recount vote. And so we're starting to see a little consolidation there, folks, against Steve Womack. Why is everybody so mad at Steve Womack?
It's probably because he beat him, Roby, would be my initial thought. But no, in all seriousness, I mean, State Senator Cecile Bledsoe was rumored to be the front runner in this race. She has what appeared to be, at least at the early stages of the race, a lot of support and was likely to do very well. Womack ran almost kind of an insurgent campaign. He came out hard and fast, very aggressive, some crafty television advertising, and seemed to work pretty hard. Gunnar DeLay, who is on the extreme right of the Republican Party, got close to a runoff, which I think would have been a real disaster for Republicans up there. But I would expect you see this race tighten significantly, Roby. Turnout's going to be small up there, especially with no GOP Senate primary. So can Cecile Bledsoe pick up some steam and move forward? I think this is one of those races where you could see the person who finished in second place, even though it was a distant second, catapult ahead and win ultimately in a runoff.
Yeah, definitely be an interesting one to watch. What else kind of grabbed your attention on election night? Other returns, other races, other results? What are some other things that have kind of ginned your political instincts there?
Well, we've got runoffs in 2 other statewide races. Pat O'Brien, the Pulaski County clerk, and Land Commissioner Mark Wilcox in a Secretary of State's race. Pat O'Brien broke all records for fundraising in that race. He was able to run 2 television ads in a race that I'm not sure anybody's ever run one. And Mark Wilcox, who was kind of absent from the political scene for a while, seemed to surge on Election Day to get into that runoff. I think that's an interesting race between those two candidates to see who will do well. And then, of course, the land commissioner race. The establishment candidate, Monty Davenport, with the support of Attorney General Dustin McDaniel, finished in second place behind 23-year-old Newport native L.J. Bryant. You know, say what you will about young people in politics, Roby, but L.J. Bryant put his name on the ballot, and he did really well, winning the plurality of votes in that race. He'll have a tough time in the runoff, especially with the kind of support that Monty Davenport has. But if he works hard and he's able to get that nomination, it'll be one for the record books.
There's definitely going to be a lot for people to watch on June 8th in this runoff election here. Blake Rutherford, blakesthinktank.com is his website. You can always keep up with some breaking political news and definitely some opinion and great analysis. Blake, thanks for being with us. Glad to have you.
Thank you, Roby.
We're back with more right after this.